Welcome, everybody, to WEIU. We are live in the WEIU TV studio tonight. I am Keanne Armstrong, and I'm joined with
Jana Johnson. We are so glad that you're joining us tonight for this great production.
This is Paris. This is our story. We're live in the WEIU TV studio. We are streaming live at WEIU.net. We are all over social media tonight. Hashtag PTIOS and hashtag Paris. This is our story.
The zip code for Paris is 61944. Believe it or not, we have 44 storytellers tonight.
And that is awesome because that's one of our biggest shows yet. And we have so many stories to share with you this evening. Several of those storytellers are in the house with us tonight. You can see them right there. They're going to be taking your phone calls here in just a bit. The number is at the bottom of your screen right now because you won't want to miss out on getting a DVD of the special program tonight.
You're going to love this program. It is amazing and it's awesome.
So stay tuned. You won't want to miss out for Paris, This Is Our Story, coming right now over the airwaves and over the online. Stay tuned. Don't miss out.
Paris, This Is Our Story is made possible by Paris Community Hospital Family Medical Center. Our patient care and investments in medical technology show our ongoing commitment to the communities of East Central Illinois. Paris Community Hospital is pleased to help bring you Paris, This Is Our Story. The Paris Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, proudly supporting all things Paris. The Paris Area Chamber of Commerce and Tourism is delighted to help support Paris, This Is Our Story. Additional information by phone or online at parisilchamber.com. The Edgar County Community Foundation seeks to raise the quality of life throughout Edgar County by developing and supporting philanthropy to meet the needs of its residents. The ECCF is dedicated to the residents of Edgar County, their facilities, their education, and their welfare. Robert Morgan Incorporated at 1907 South Central Avenue in Paris is proud to help bring you Paris, This Is Our Story. Thank you to all of the storytellers who helped make this program come to life from your friends at Robert Morgan Incorporated. The Paris Beacon News, serving Edgar County since 1848, published Tuesday through Saturday and located at 218 North Main Street. The Paris Beacon News, happy to support Paris, This Is Our Story. First Bank of Paris, providing financial services to households, agriculture, and small businesses in East Central Illinois. And we are pleased to be a part of Paris, This Is Our Story. Interstar Electric Cooperative, your locally owned co-op, pledges to serve its members with integrity, accountability, innovation, and a commitment to community. Interstar is proud to bring you Paris, This Is Our Story. Pierman Pharmacy, providing health care for over 45 years and committed to serving the people of Edgar County. Pierman Pharmacy is honored to support all of the storytellers on Paris, This Is Our Story. Edgar County Bank, committed to service and the communities we serve. When it comes to being a part of the community, our involvement goes beyond words, which is why we're proud to support Paris, This Is Our Story.
In 1840, a couple of entrepreneurs decided the community was big enough for a paper, and they started one called the Illinois Statesman. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough support, and within 3 years, it kind of faded away. The next attempt was more successful. In 1848, a family or a publisher by the name of Jacob Harding moved to Paris. So he established the Prairie Beacon in the late 1800s, early 1900s. One of the longest publishers tenure was a Colonel Charles P. Hitch, who for 26 years owned and published the Beacon. In 1926, my grandfather, Ernest M. Jennison, moved to Paris, purchased the Beacon, the Paris Beacon in 1926, and in 1927 purchased the Daily News, combining them into the current Beacon News. Right in the midst of World War II, a fire broke out in the press room and mechanical department of the newspaper and completely destroyed all of the production equipment. The Jennison family, starting with Ernest M. Jennison back in 1926, continuing with his son Ed Jennison, who became publisher in 1939. Both he and my father really considered the community newspaper almost like a public utility, that it wasn't so much of a private business as it was an institution that you had the privilege of, directing, managing, and continuing, but only for the good of the community. In 2004, the family sold the newspaper to the new publishing company known as Edgar County Newspapers Incorporated. It's interesting how history sometimes repeats itself. For more than 60 years, there had just been one newspaper in Paris, and we now actually have two newspapers here again. A weekly publication, the Prairie Press, was established. In the meantime, the Beacon News changed from an evening newspaper to a 5-day-a-week morning newspaper. We are confident we'll continue to serve the community, well into the future.
I'm here to talk about the hog ring. My great-grandfather came up with an idea that they ought to be able to do something about pigs. My grandfather, he started playing around with wire in the basement, trying to figure out if he could put something together that could go in a pig's nose and keep him out of the ground. Now, people who are doing this already, but nobody had manufactured it yet. So he found a company in Lafayette, Indiana, who could send him the wire to do it, and they bent the wire, they polished it, packaged it, and sent it out as Stewart hog rings. They worked, but he wanted something a little stronger, and so they started welding a bar right down the middle of the hog ring, and they called that the Stewart hog ring. And they applied for a patent, and they got it. In 1926, my father became the sales manager for Stewart Hog Ring Company. He hired his older brother, Joe, so there were 3 brothers working, and my grandfather passed away from the tuberculosis, and so Dad bought his father's shares, so he had 40% of the company, and Vern had 60%. And they began manufacturing hog rings, and they went from the one they called the Stewart hog ring, there was the Blair, the fish hook, the diamond point, all of these different rings for different things, because a little one won't work for a big one. And then they saw the possibilities of wire forming and what they could do with wire. So they started making heater guards, dishwasher racks, automotive fan guard covers, toaster racks, you name it. If it was formed wire, Stewart Hog Ring Company made it. And at one time in the 50s, my dad said that he could go into any house in the United States and find something that he had manufactured. Before long, he had hired my mother's brother, who was playing around with electroplating and with plastisol products. So they started dipping the dishwasher racks. And he made them for Whirlpool, and Emerson, who made Sears and Admiral and all the way down. He made all of them for Westinghouse. He made them for everybody except for General Electric. Dad worked for a while until the 70s. He realized he was getting tired. He really wanted to be a farmer, which is what he was when he started out. So he sold the company.
The YMCA of Paris actually spans 3 centuries. In 1844, the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association, was established in London, England, to empower young people. In less than 50 years, it had made its way across the ocean to Paris, Illinois. But if you fast forward to about the 1960s, there were a group of people that got together that were discussing informally discussing the lack of activities, leisure time, recreational activities for the town of Paris. Several area businesses came together to fiscally support a pilot program for the YMCA. And actually the YMCA started out in an old building, an old house, where our current structure sits. And so representatives from the YMCA and representatives from the youth center got together and formed a committee to try to figure out a building construction program and how to fund this and that. In June of 1972, June 25th to be exact, we had an open house where the community could come in and look at it. And then the next day, on the 26th, we were open for business. The community didn't have anything organized as far as sporting activities or recreation activities like that. There was nothing that was organized under one program. And so when they did organize that, the overwhelming, I think, aspect, the comments made from people in Paris was that they loved coming together under one roof where that could serve the entire family. And then in 1984, we needed to add on. Even though we were 22,000 square feet, we needed to be a little bit bigger. 2009, that proved to be a very trying time for us. We had to close the pool down in order to save the organization. We saw more trying times in 2013. The YMCA of the USA came to us and said that we didn't fit their model anymore. We were basically too small. We again approached the community, and several leaders and hands down unanimously said, we can't lose this organization, this is too important. They voted to keep us in. So December 31st, 2013 was our last day as an operating YMCA. We rang in the new year of 2014 as the rec center. Even though our programs have changed, we still have the same type of offerings that we did when the YMCA was here. And yes, the pool may be closed, and that is sad, but we have so much more to offer, from sporting activities. Youth sports are incredibly popular in this town. Basketball is huge. And so we offer so much to every age. It fits all. And it's apparent that there was heart to begin with to start this organization. There was heart to change it over into the rec center and to keep it going.
I know that the Paris National Guard has been a vital part of the city of Paris for a long time. The first Paris National Guard unit actually came into existence in April of 1861, and it's been involved in every conflict since then in some way or another. I mean, the primary responsibility would be transportation. Got a lot of trucks, Hummers, vehicles that can haul 5 tons across country or 10 tons on the highway. But they also do everything else. There's administrative people, there's supply people, there's maintenance people, obviously, because we have vehicles involved. There are, we do guard duty, stand in a foxhole sometimes. The Paris National Guard Armory is located on Route 1, just north of town. It's right next to the American Legion and right where Route 1 splits. I deployed twice with myself with the 1544th Transportation Company. And the first time for Desert Shield, Desert Storm, there was a large parade when we left town. There was a large parade when we came back. At that point, we were only gone about 7, maybe 8 months, and we luckily did not lose anyone. And we still had, 5,000 or 6,000 people show up, fill the downtown square. There was, the Air National Guard was involved. They flew a missing man formation above the town square, and the city of Paris just came out and really supported us. Around the courthouse is a list of veterans memorials. They've got all the different wars listed and everything, and they include everyone that participated. So the same thing happened when we deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom. However, this time the unit was slightly larger. We had grown from about 120 people to about 160, and that the unit lost 5 soldiers out of about 160 soldiers. We lost Sergeant Ivory Phipps within 24 hours of arriving in Baghdad. We lost Specialist Jeremy Ridlin about 2 months later. Then we went a couple months during the summer, that was okay. And then we had a bad day in September the 5th, that we lost Sergeant Shauna Morrison, who was the hometown girl. Yeah, someone asked her before us leaving town and the parade leaving town if she would like to return home or when she would like to return home. And she responded, come home, who wouldn't want to come home? And then she never did. Also the first woman killed in combat in the entire state of Illinois. Also on that same day, we lost Specialist Charles Lamb. And then about a month later, we lost Specialist Jessica Covey, who was from up near Champaign Way. Anyway, that obviously, I think, brought the war closer to home, and we got even that much more support then. So, yeah, the city of Paris has always been very supportive of the Paris National Guard.
The Edgar County Courthouse is the largest and probably the most beautiful building in Edgar County. It's 2 feet higher than the Illinois cereal mill, 159 feet, I believe, something like that. And I've been in love with that courthouse for over 60 years. When I was a child, my grandfather had an office in the old Alexander House, and I went up there when I was a child many times. And when he got off work at night, when they closed the office, he'd walk me around the square and we'd visit all of his friends who became my friends later. And I always loved the bell when it chimed, loved the statue. Now I was about, 3 feet tall? So that courthouse was huge to me at that time. It's still huge, very beautiful. And the view from the top of that courthouse, 159 feet, is quite actually tremendous. You can see Kansas, Brockton, Newman, Terre Haute, Clinton, Indiana, Terre Haute, Indiana. The only thing you can't actually see is south, and that's because where the glacier stopped, everything is well below, so you're looking kind of out into space when you look south. But anyway, it's a grand view. The clock tower on the courthouse was an afterthought. When the original engineers submitted the plan, it was a very beautiful building, but it just didn't, it stood out. But the committee wanted a little bit more. So they opted to have a clock tower built. That's the spire. They wanted the clock tower high enough that everybody in Edgar County could look from the outlying areas and read the clock. Those clocks are 7 feet in diameter. They're huge. I live 5 miles northwest of town, and I can read them, but it's very difficult. You'd have to have really good eyes. They wanted a building that when people came here, would get the idea, would understand that the people in Edgar County, the citizens of Edgar County, cared about so much about their county that they built this building. The Edgar County Courthouse has been important to the citizens of Edgar County. First, in the early years, the square, the Edgar County Square, was the central location that everybody gathered to on Saturdays, on weekends, for any big event. They gathered at the courthouse square. If the Edgar County Courthouse wasn't in existence, Paris would be like so many other small town, small rural towns. And downtown Paris, Illinois is actually, if you look, the square is a very beautiful square. The architecture around that square, if you really, when you're walking down the street, if you look up at the buildings, they're beautifully done. And there's efforts underway now to beautify downtown Paris. It's ongoing, it's working, but the courthouse, Edgar County Courthouse, is the centerpiece of that wedding cake, okay? And I hope it never disappears.
This story starts out in Ohio, in Clark County, Ohio, was the main town there, Springfield, Ohio. And William Hodge and Mary Jane Wolfe had 2 children. And the first child was born in 1826, the other one in 1828. They migrated to Paris, Illinois. When they got here, there was only about 150 people here, and it hadn't been very long that Samuel Vance donated the 26 acres for Paris. Samuel Vance is a great-great-great-great-grandfather of mine. William James Hodge, he becomes a proprietor of a furniture and undertaking store on the north side of the square, which is now gone. And Andrew Henry, my great-great-grandfather, he starts making making furniture and cabinets, and he's quite good at it. He gets back in 1852, and in 53, he meets Nicholas Bowen, and they form a partnership, and they build a store, which is now called Bowen and Hodge. They were partners. And that was in 1853. So that's the beginning of the hardware store. Dad's running the store now by himself, except Andy, Tom, and I are around now, so we can work at the store. So after school, we went to school at Mayo and Paris High School. After school, we were required to come to the store and work at the hardware store after school, and then on Saturdays, and then we were open on Friday evening too. I didn't know it at the time, but I went down one evening to get a bag of grain, there, 50-pound sacks. So I went down and got it. And as soon as I flipped the light on, rats went everywhere. I mean, these are big rats. It's like small possums. So I thought, oh shoot, the rats are getting into the grain. So I walked upstairs and I asked Dad, I said, can I have a dozen muskrat traps? He said, sure. He said, what are you going to use them for? And I said, oh, I'm going to go catch some rats. I didn't tell you what kind. And so I thought these traps, well, they're about this big around. I thought that would kill a rat. No, I was wrong. The rats got in the traps, carried them to their holes, and went partway down their holes. But the hole narrowed at a certain distance, about 2 feet, and these traps had chains on them, which are about 2 feet. So I would pull on the chain, and the rat would get mad and come running out of the hole and making funny noises like, and that scared me. So I went upstairs. I said, well, Dad, I need to borrow the .22 pistol. and some rounds. He says, "What are you going to shoot?" I said, "Well, the rats I caught are still alive." So I went down, pulled on the chain. When they came running out, hissing and making noises, I shot every one of them. It got harder to buy stuff because these bigger stores could buy it cheaper than what we could buy it. And the day of the small hardware stores kind of went out of style, went out of business. So Dad retired, and he ended up selling the store in the, I'm not sure exactly which day, but in the 80s anyway. He sold the store. Then it became a health food place for a while. The store is still standing. You can go down in the basement, and the original creek stones are still there. It's like going into a mine shaft, though, because it's only 5 feet high, so I don't walk in there very well. I hit my head on the ceiling. And the bricks that make up the rest of the store are from 1867. The only thing that's original from 1853 is the creek stones and the safe. So the safe's a good safe. It went through a fire and it's still good. So I've got it at home, and it's going to stay there for a long time because it takes a lot of people to move it.
What wonderful stories those are right there. We've had 6 great stories of Paris. This is our story. And if you want a copy of this program tonight with all of these great stories, all you have to do is pick up the phone and call that number at the bottom of your screen right now.
If you're wanting one DVD, that's the $75 level. We'd be happy to take care of that for you. If you want more than one, it ends up being $60 a piece. So do your math. They're $60 if it's over 2. So we hope you call right now. We have 8 great phone operators just waiting for the first caller. Who's going to be the first person that supports the program that's all about Paris? If you'd enjoyed the program so far this evening, you've only seen a small part of it. If you love it, we need you to call right now.
We want that first person to get the phones ringing, because when you get that phone ringing, someone else calls in, and there it is right there, and we're excited about that. Thank you, and we will give you a shout out in just a moment. Phil Lewis is on the phone right there. He's one of our storytellers, and he is going to be talking about parks in Paris in just a little bit.
Great story from him. Well, who's going to be the second caller right now? We need somebody to pick up your phone, dial the phone number on the bottom of your screen.
You can also go online at weiu.net and give your gift of support right there and receive your DVD that way. But it is so much fun when you call right now and talk to one of us. You can talk to one of the storytellers and let them know what you think of the program tonight.
Are you going to go talk to somebody?
I am going to go talk to somebody, and I'll tell you what, I've got Warren Sperry right over here, and he's been one of our champions, and I'll tell you what, I am so thrilled that Warren is here tonight. How you doing, Warren?
We're doing great. Just a wonderful evening, so exciting. A great people, great organization for a great cause. I want to talk to all my former band students and everybody that's out there, so give us a call. It's going to be a super evening for everyone. EIU, my school, I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity. Come and join us.
That sounds good, Warren. Thank you so much for being here tonight. He's been such a champion. I know he has some people that he's looking forward to talking to tonight. And he's got a story coming up later in the program about Paris High School Marching Band and bands in Paris. Jana, back to you.
Thank you, Ken. We've had so much fun with Warren, and he knows so much about the bands, and we have a couple people that work here that are all about bands. So if you're one of those people that have been in band over the years with Warren as your teacher, we'd appreciate you calling right now. Mary's on the phone. I have a couple thank yous to go ahead and give out. Mary from Paris, Arlene from Paris, thank you, Arlene, Charles from Effingham, and David from Paris. That's 5 people that have already called. We need 5 more people to call right now. Ken, got somebody else to talk to?
Well, actually, the phones are busy, and that's a great thing, because that makes me happy, and they're talking to Mary Liz right now. I was going to talk to her. We'll get her on in just a little bit. She has a story about the U of I extension, and it's an interesting story. But we also have some other storytellers here tonight that are waiting to take your call. We have Arlene over here who's waiting to take one right now. She has a story about May Fate, which is really special to Paris. But right now, be sure to look on the screen and give your call of support. For $75, you can get 1 copy of the DVD. For $120, you can get 2 copies. And the phones are ringing, and we are thrilled about that. Keep them going. Jana, back to you.
We have 2 phones that are not busy right now, so if you want to have this great DVD of Paris, this is our story, please call right now. The number's on the bottom of the screen. $75 will get you 1 DVD. Anything over that, they're $60 a piece. We appreciate you calling. Edgar County Courthouse, that was Heck Parrish who told that story, and he couldn't be here tonight, and we're really sad that he can't be here, but you know what? I bet Heck's going to call anytime. We are appreciative of you calling. Come on in here, Ken, let's get some more people on the phone.
I've got some thank yous here. I've got Kim from Redmond, Kathy from Paris, Autumn from Ashmore, and Sandy from Paris. Thank you so much for your pledge of support tonight. You're going to enjoy those programs.
We'd like to get up to 20 people on this session right here, so if you're thinking about doing it, don't wait till the end of the program. Call right now.
That's right. How many of you may possibly know Ned Jennison? He did the first story that got us off tonight, Newspapers of Paris, and I'll tell you what, he's been around for a long time, and I don't know that there's one person in Paris that does not know him. So if you're a friend of Ned's, you need to call in and tell him thank you by way of one of our storytellers here tonight. All you have to do is pick up the phone right now.
Nels has a phone call right now. We have 4 people that are waiting on you to call right now. We have Warren, Lori, Mary, and Arlene. So give us a call right now. We'd love to hear from you. If you're one of those people that loves Paris, if you're one of those people that used to go to Hodges hardware store, wasn't Jeff Hodge hilarious talking about the rats?
He was. That was a funny story, and he is such a unique individual. I had the pleasure of interviewing Jeff, and he's so fun to talk to, and he's very humorous, and I'll tell you what, he added a great story to this program. And I'll tell you what, also some more great news. We have Dave from Chrisman to thank, Doug from Paris, and Deborah from Paris. Thank you so very much for your pledge of support tonight.
Right now, Warren and Arlene are not on the phone. Let's get all those phones going right now. I know you want to do it. All you have to do is pick up that phone.
I'll tell you what, Mary is back here on the phone, and she had one interesting story about the Stewart hog rings and how all of that work with the wire finally turned into different things that every person in America had something in their house, and that came straight from Paris, Illinois.
That's unbelievable. Everybody's had the wire racks in your dishwasher. And a lot of people at the premiere said, I never knew that. Somebody said, I sit by Mary at church. I had no idea that she was involved with that. So
something else I want to talk about is the wreck. There's something that came out of that story that you will see in a lot of different stories tonight is about how Paris takes care of Paris, and if there's a need there, they find a way to meet it, and that's exactly what they're doing here tonight. They see the need to support WEIU and say thank you for helping produce this program, and we want to say thank you to them as well.
That's right, Ken. When we look at programs like this, we always say, if WEIU as a PBS station doesn't do it, who's going to do it, Ken? What other station is going to go to Paris and say, we want to do a story, as many storytellers as you want to give us, let's do it. And we did it, and it's turned out fantastic.
And we have made so many friends, and we want to thank the underwriters as well for their support in this program. We don't charge to do this, and we ask the town to support this program. I'll tell you what, they have really came leaps and bounds and showed their support. So underwriters of Paris, This Is Our Story, thank you as well.
So if you're out there right now and you've enjoyed the program so far and you love Paris, we need you to get on the phone and call right now. How many people we need to get, Ken?
You know what?
The $75 level, you can have one DVD. Anything other than that, it's $60 each.
There's 2 phones available right now, and we love that it's staying busy, but we want to see all of those phones busy. We have 8 back there. Give us a call right now. And if you enjoyed the story about the Illinois National Guard, if you served in the Illinois National Guard with the 1544th and appreciate Patrick Twigg showing that honor like he did, you should give us a call right now and receive a copy of the program to keep for your very own. And we want to thank you for what you're doing for Illinois as well.
Thank you, Ken. That was a great story. We'd like to thank Ruth Ann from Urbana. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Monica from Paris, thank you very much. And we got a call all the way from the Colony in Texas. Her name is Kelly. Kelly, thank you so much. We are streaming online.
We are, WEIU.net. You can watch online. And we're also all over social media tonight, making sure that we're showcasing Paris as well. So spread the news to your family and friends and coworkers and anyone that you can.
Somebody's spreading the word, because we got to give a thank you to Amy from Paris and Nolan from Paris. That's what we're talking about. Get on the phone, and if Paris is important to you and a program like this that is all about Paris is what you need to be calling tonight.
I'll tell you what, these phones ringing are jazzing me up, and I can feel the excitement. I can see all the smiles on all the storytellers' faces back here, as well as in other parts of the studio, and we're having so much fun. We want to thank you. We want to make sure that this happens for the rest of the evening. We've got lots of great stories to share with you yet.
Right now, we'd like to get up to 40 people calling on this segment right here.
And we can do it.
We can do it with your help, but only by your help. At the $75 level, we will give you a DVD of this program. And if you want to do $60, you can buy 2, 3, 4, 5. You can buy as many as you want.
I'll tell you what, we've got some great stories that are coming up in the second segment. How many of you are familiar with Ernie, Evelyn, Jim? Because I tell you what, Ernie, Evelyn's daughter, is going to be talking about that, and there's some special footage that you'll be able to see from that right now. We're going to be taking some more calls before we get to that. Some others. Nels Casey is back here. He has the great heart seat. That is a perfect story for you that want to learn some history about Paris as well.
It's amazing how many people didn't know some of the history from Paris. And I imagine if you're sitting out there tonight enjoying this program, you're saying the same thing. Wow, I didn't know the history of Hodges Hardware. Gosh, people keep on calling.
I'll
We
tell
have a
you
lot of
what,
thank yous
can I do some more thank
Absolutely.
yous? Rita from Paris, Monica from Paris, Gloria from Paris, Lori from Paris, and Camille from Kansas. Thank you so much. You're going to enjoy those DVDs, I'll tell you what.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited. This is great.
This is what gets exciting in here. It gets loud, and have you announced these yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. We have had so many people call already, but let's keep this going. Keep on calling. We need the phones to ring. Warren is sitting over there awfully lonely. We need him to get him on the phone. And Arlene just switched with Nels. So now you can call Nels and Warren. Get on the phone.
Get on the phone and talk to them right now, because this is a super night to tell them thank you. When you call in and you get to talk to one of them and you say, hey, I saw this story and I learned so much from it. I didn't know that. I've lived in Paris all my life, and what an education I'm getting from this. You're telling them thank you because they volunteered to do this and they wanted to showcase Paris as well.
You know, actually, when you give, and maybe you want a DVD for yourself, but maybe you have somebody that's moved away from Paris, and you're thinking, I'd like to get that as a gift for somebody. So why don't you give it that $120 level, keep one, and pass the other one along.
You can think about birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, any of the holidays, graduation. There's lots of different things that these DVDs will come in handy for, and all you have to do is pick up the phone right now, give your gift of support of $75 for one DVD and $120 for two.
When we first went to Paris, we had no idea how many storytellers that were going to volunteer. 44 have stepped up, and that speaks loudly about Paris and how much they love their community, and how much you as a viewer, by calling, are showing us that you want programs like this that really showcase your great town.
Absolutely. Isn't that wonderful, seeing all of those storytellers back there answering the phones, talking to people who are saying thank you for showcasing Paris tonight. I want a copy of that DVD. I'm going to spread the news to my family and my friends. And speaking of spreading the news, let's say some more thank yous. We have Kim from Redmond, Karen from Paris, Carol from Paris, Dave from Paris,
Oh my gosh.
Kate and Jody from Paris.
Wow.
Thank you so much. This is a rockin' night, and you're making it special.
You know, so far we've had 29 calls. That's not counting the people that are on the phone right now. So we want to get up to 40. Keep on calling. Keep this good stuff going.
We only have 11 more calls to make till we hit that 40. We're keeping
Here's another one.
Yeah, we're keeping track of everybody tonight. We're making note of who you are. We want to give you a shout out right now and say thank you. 29 right there. Let's get 11 more. We're with you for just another minute, and then we're going to get back to the show.
And also, even though when the program comes back, you can still call if you'd like to, but we don't want you to miss a minute of the programming. So we need you to call right now.
I'll tell you what, just to give you a heads up, we've got Ernie, Evelyn, Jim, Edgar County Community Foundation, Christmas for Kids, Great Heart Seed, Killian's Honey, St. Aloysius Church, Robert Morgan Incorporated, and Warren Sperry with Paris High School Band coming your way in just a moment. So don't go anywhere. You can still give us a call.
We have 3 people right now that are not on the phone. Please get them busy and call.
The number's at the bottom of your screen. Make sure you're on social media keeping up with us as well. Hashtag PTIOS, hashtag Paris This Is Our Story. And now we're going back to the program. Paris This Is Our Story. Stay tuned.